Let me tell you a story about a girl who was only 10 when she found out her life wasn't a fairy tale, but a reality. See, at a very young age, she faced a tragedy. Let me explain. Life was all about playing ball with dad and how many Pokemon cards she had. It was about swimming on the monkey bars and having her dad cure her wounds and scars. Her dad, the White Knight. Her best friend one day and a liar overnight. At the age of 10, she faced a tragedy, something that completely changed her mentality. She stopped seeing her dad as a hero because now she knew he was a cheater. Mom was always working hard 9 to 5 shifts while her dad was shacking up with her friend's mom, his mistresses. Let me explain. After noticing her father's unusual behavior, she started asking questions. How can you blame her? When she saw her father on a website that was unsuitable, it clicked in her head that she was accusable. Daddy, why are there naked women on the computer? Ah, your uncle was probably using this. Just turn around and mind your business. She wasn't used to being screamed at, so she started crying. It all made sense and she knew he was lying. So, you and her mom are in a relationship? And with that question, he lost his patience. You ever mention this to your mother, you're dead to me. Now stop crying and watch your damn TV. From that day, she lost respect for the man. That's when her innocence ended and a new life began. A life of hard truths she wasn't ready to know, and before she knew it, there was a list of Jane Does. So with reasonable doubt, she opened his emails and everything's blurred out. Sexual letters, explicit pictures, things she shouldn't know about. There was even a picture of a woman on her bed. That was the first time she'd wish he'd dropped dead. For the sake of her mother, his secrets remained hid, but because of her father, her childhood was tainted. Not a word was exchanged till she turned 13. Why do you do it? She asked in hopes he'd come clean. Look, I have nothing to say. For 3 years you didn't look my way. For 3 years you made me feel like a stray. I'm your father, I demand some respect. Respect is earned, not given. You deserve the neglect. As he proceeds, he explained how a man has his need, thinking that could suffice for a plead. With desperation, he kept on going. And I have another apartment for that, so no one comes here anymore, as if that was something worth promoting. She was tired of the excuses and the apologies. She refused them. All she could do is act as if he didn't live under the same roof as her, act as if he didn't exist, put up a front, and behind closed doors she was slicing her wrists. At the age of 14, she faced a tragedy. Something happened that made her question her sanity. At a very young age, she was a pro at hiding her scars because the physical pain distracted her from the emotional scars. But one day she took it too far. She felt like she had no hope, and one day she was caught red-handed tying a rope. Her father opened the door in her state of desperation, and it's crazy to think that he was actually her salvation. At the age of 15, she was a total wreck. She had no control of her own life, so she manipulated the rest, never knowing that was something she was gonna regret. Her father stopped trying. There was no talking, screaming, or crying. Still, she stayed out the house to avoid any riot, and would come home late at night when it was usually quiet. Her and her mom used to lock the bedroom door just as a precaution in case he was drinking and his intentions were fueled by the toxins. She would even sleep with the knife under her bed because there was always a calm before the storm and she wanted to be ready for the forecast ahead. At the age of 16, she faced what most people would call a tragedy. But in reality, it only saved her so much agony. Her last words to him were, "I hope you feel better," as she walked out the door and whispered, "I hope you die quicker." He spent 2 days on a hospital bed, and on a Wednesday he was pronounced dead. She never saw this coming. She never saw him leave. So now she faced the problem: how do you fake grief? She was crying out of happiness that it was finally over, and then she was crying out of sadness that she will never get closure. She felt numb and frozen. Grief was an overwhelming roller coaster of emotions. She didn't have to fake it, it was inevitable. All the pain she felt for years, it was unbearable. But no one saw this. She was a strong girl who lost her father at a very young age. It's crazy how people have these stories that they don't share, because you automatically assume that people don't care. So if someone comes to you and confides in you, just help them feel secure and don't judge them for a pain you haven't endured. If you've listened to me this far, I want to thank you. And I guess I'll have to say that this is to be continued, because this only touched the surface, and it might have seemed like a long story, but my story isn't finished.